Okay, try this again. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. A few technical difficulties getting on, so I'm a little late jumping on. Some changes with Facebook and being allowed to live stream. It looks like it's working, yay. But it took me a little longer to get signed on than usual, so I apologize for being a bit late today. So I have for you today a card made from a retiring stamp set, Good Morning Magnolia. I'm going to really miss this one. Used it an awful lot over the 2 years that it's been active. And I'm going to introduce to you some new in colors. Three of the 5 new in colors I've used in this project. Oh, look at that. I've got closed caption. Never had that before. So some of the changes that are coming along. So yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Parkland County, 18 above. Right now, it's supposed to get a little stormy tonight, I guess, and cooler for the next few days. I guess I forgot to introduce myself for those who don't know who I am. My name is Sheila Keith. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Parkland County, Alberta. Okay, so let's switch cameras here and let's get on with the project. So here we go, is the card that I have for you. So this is one of the stamps also from the set, the big magnolia and a die cut to cut it out. I've used the double oval punch, so the larger of the two. I've used some of the new in color ribbon. This is pale papaya. The dark here is evening evergreen, and the lighter green is soft succulent. I'm just drawing a blank. Haven't got myself 100. Yes, like soft succulent, which I've colored the whole magnolia in with blends, and then I've used some of the new gems for the in color gems. On the background here, I used the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder, which is sticking around. And that is the inside. The journey of life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together. Sort of appropriate for the times that we're in, I believe. So let's get started. So this is the die that we're going to use. It's the largest die in the set. I have a 8.5 by 5.5 base. Sorry, distracted. Hello, Mary Liz. Hello, Kelly. Welcome. And it's scored at 4 1/4. So let's just burnish that. And I have a layer for the outside of the evening evergreen that is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to put that through the brick and mortar embossing folder. Now this is from when we first switched. So I have little stickers on them so that I knew what type of plates I needed. This is going in portrait orientation, so I'm going to have to put it through the embossing machine like this. So let's, I want to get everything I need the embossing machine for ready, and then we only have to bring it in once. I have a larger, full quarter sheet, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 of white, which we're going to stamp the magnolia on. For the inside, I have a 4 by 5 1/4. I've already cut out my rectangle die, and I have some whisper white here just to stamp on. So let's get the black done. There it is. Thinking of you. And then I've got the magnolia, so it's mounted on the largest block that we have. So with these big ones, I like to take the ink to the stamp instead of the stamp to the ink. Usually have less mess and get better coverage that way. And I'll just stamp that in the middle. go. And then I think I have one more thing to stamp in black, so I might as well do it and get it over with. And I know this was before I got smarter about putting my stickers on, and I don't think it's going to be very straight. So I'm just gonna, yeah. There we go. All right. So let's color this. So I'm using the blends. And there are blends in all of the in colors this time around. And I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can. So we'll start with the leaves. So there is no right or wrong. This is just how I like to do it. Whoops, I want the light first. So wherever I'm going to do my darker color, I actually put some light first, just to kind of wet the paper. This seems to work for me. Now, Stampin' Up! Makes this pretty easy for us for the most part. They tend to put little markings where we're supposed to do some shading. And on leaves, I like to do the shading along the vein lines because I feel that they will typically be darker than the rest of the leaf. And then I just go in a circular motion to just kind of blend that so that you don't have just lines. I'm sure I know there's people out there that do a much better job of coloring than I do, but I'm usually fairly happy with my results. And it can go pretty quick. When you're working with the blends, if you're not already aware, these are an alcohol marker. You should always have something protecting your surface because it does bleed through your cardstock or paper. Oops, I think I just colored part of that petal. Well, we'll make it leaf. See, it bleeds through. And as it dries, you can see it starts to take on the different shading. And I tend to use the brush end most of the time. It's a softer touch, and I don't apply very much pressure. Some people press really, really hard. That will damage the tips of your blends. Oops, getting ahead of myself. And I like to work on sort of one area or one element at a time, because as long as you keep it damp, it's easier to blend. Once it dries, it gets a little harder. You end up having to add more color to get it to blend properly. So with something like this, I just work leaf by leaf, petal by petal. Okay, one more leaf, big one though. Lightning Evergreen I'm actually using on the stem. And there isn't a whole lot of coloring to do here, so I just going to a little bit of dark and a little bit of light, and we'll call it done. And then the pale papaya for the petals. Let's see how quickly I can get through this. Maybe I'll live a little dangerously. I'll do 2 petals at once. With flower petals, I like to sometimes, even if it's not drawn in, I like to put a little bit of a highlight at the outer edge. Okay, this is a bigger one, so I'll do this one. And you get the folds on the petals, so I tend to want to make those a bit darker as well. Narrowing in here pretty quick. Trying to rush here instead of taking up all the time watching me color. Doing it again, getting ahead of myself. So the difference with the highlighting shows up, as I said, more as it dries. And here I've noticed I've got a bit of a line going on, so I'm going to try and blend that a little more. And a little bit of daffodil delight for the center. Ta-da! There, got through that pretty quick. All right, let's bring in the die machine. So the first thing that we're going to do will emboss our evening evergreen piece. So remember, it's always hinge first. So you get that beautiful 3D brick look. I'm going to cut out. I'm bringing that I brought my magnetic plate in. This is a big image. I want to make sure that I get it lined up properly. Okay. Just pop that out. That's pretty good. Okay, so we have a little bit more stamping to do, not very much, and then we'll put it all together. So pale papaya, this little, I don't know what you call it thing, little fancy thing. I'm going to put that on the flap of my envelope. And, ooh, that didn't stamp very well. I'm going to redo that. That was my inside. It's straight enough, but it's kind of blotchy. So I'm going to clean my stamp and re-stamp that. Now it'll get it straight. Oh well, we will leave it. Shouldn't have said anything. I jinxed it. All right. I'm looking at this, thinking of you, thinking it may not punch out either. I might have gotten it a little too close to the bottom. Oh, we're going to be okay. So I used the larger punch. Okay, I think that's all of the stamping. Okay, let's put it together. So I have this size stitched rectangle, and my thinking of you, I am just going to adhere it flat on there. So now that we don't have oval dies anymore, we have to get a little more creative. Put this on the inside. Now, I did here my magnolia with dimensionals, and we want to put it quite close to the top. Okay, so I used quite a few because I wanted to try and get into each of those points, and then I want a couple in the middle to support it because it's such a large die cut. Looks like I missed stamping part of that magnolia leaf there. I might try and fix that after with a bit of a marker. Okay, so we're going to need some ribbon. So first we're going to need a piece to cut and to wrap around. So enough to go around. Now I have it fairly close to the bottom, sort of on the 4th row of bricks from the bottom. I think that's where I want it. Maybe I actually want it a little, oh, that should work. Just slide it under that leaf a little bit. At least with the lines on the brick, it's pretty easy to get it straight. And then I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals as well. Just kind of stay away from this corner because it's going to overlap on my magnolia. Down there, up here. Centered over the ribbon. And I'm going to tie a bow. So if you haven't seen me tie a bow before, most people have, but if you haven't, this is how I do it. So I start with a loop. I wrap over the front to the back, fold the loop through, just like that. That's it. I don't do any knot. And then I can adjust it to the size of the loops that I want. Pull it tight. Make them even, just like that. And then, and I always tie off of the spool, and then I don't waste as much. What did I just drop on the floor? Something just fell on the floor. So basically that's all the waste I have. I probably have to trim this just a little bit because it's a bit too long. When I put that on my card, that'll be perfect. Got a glue dot. Put the knot on the glue dot. Press. And press. And then our gems. Got two different sizes in all 5 colors. And I use the pale papaya, which almost look yellow. Could probably use them on something yellow. Oh, you like that, did you, Mary Liz? Yes, I find it works quite well. I've seen people do the double bunny ear. I don't understand the double bunny ear, and it seems really bulky to me. This really doesn't get that bulky, which I like. Okay, so I need one little one. I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to take 2 big ones. Oh, look what I did. Oh, pasted the envelope too. Got muck on the envelope. That one just didn't work out so well for me today. And there's the original. I did the little scrolly thing a different way. I actually like the way I stamped it today better. But there you go. That's what I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If there's anything that I can get for you, please check out my online store or drop me a line or email. If you do order, please use the host code on the screen for a little something in the mail from me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, especially on such a beautiful day. You know, I would rather be outside, and I've been outside the last couple of days working in the yard. Anyway, thanks again for watching. My VIP group meets tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. See you then.